Hare Krishna. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jayo Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jayo Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की सवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. all Gurus to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today being Vāmana Dvādaśī, we will take this verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Ittam virincha sutta karma virya. Ittam virincha sutta karma virya. Pradhur bhabhuamrita bhor aditya. Pradhur babhuvamrita bhor aditya. Chaturbhuja shanka gadabja chakra. Chaturbhuja shanka gadabja chakra. Pishangavasa nalinaya tekshana. Pishangavasa nalinaya tekshana. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Ittam virincha sutta karma virya. Pradhur babhuvamrita bhor aditya. Chaturbhuja shanka gadabja chakra. Pishangavasa nalinaya tekshana. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Ittam virincha sutta karma virya. Pradhur babhuvamrita bhor aditya. Chaturbhujam shanka gadabja chakra. Pishangavasa nalinaya tekshana. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Pradhur babhuvamrita bhor aditya. Bhuja shanka gadabja chakra. Pisangavasa nalinaya tekshana. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Ittam virincha sutta karma virya. Pradhur babhuvamrita bhor aditya. Chaturbhuja shanka gadabja chakra. Pisangavasa nalinaya tekshana. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Ittam virincha sutta karma virya. Pradhur babhuvamrita bhor aditya. चतुर्भुजा शङ्खगदाब्ज चक्र पिशङ्गवासा नलिनायते क्षणः. वैष्णवीस्. श्रीशुक उवाच इत्थं विरिञ्च सुतकर्मवीर्या प्रादुर्बभूवामृतभूरदित्या चतुर्भुजा शङ्खगदाब्जचक्र पिसङ्गवासा नलिनायते क्षणः. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, Itham, in this way, Virincha Stuta Karma Virya, the personality of Godhead, whose activities and prowess are always praised by Lord Brahma, Pradhurbhabhuva, became manifested. Amrita Bhu, whose appearance is always deathless. Adityam, from the womb of Aditi. Chaturbhuja, having 4 arms. Shankha Gadabja Chakra, decorated with conch shell, club, lotus and disc. Pishangavasa, dressed in yellow garments. Nalina Ayata Ikshana, having blooming eyes like the petals of a lotus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Shukadeva Goswami said, after Lord Brahma had thus spoken, glorifying the Supreme Lord's activities and prowess, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never subject to death like an ordinary living being, appeared from the womb of Aditi. His 4 hands were decorated with a conch shell, club, lotus and disc. He was dressed in yellow garments, and his eyes appeared like the petals of a blooming lotus. Purport. The word Amrita Bhu is significant in this verse. The Lord sometimes appears like an ordinary child taking birth, but this does not mean that he is subject to birth, death or old age. One must be very intelligent to understand the appearance and the activities of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tattvataha. One should try to understand that the Lord's appearance and disappearance and his activities are all divyam or transcendental. The Lord has nothing to do with material activities. One who understands the appearance, disappearance and activities of the Lord is immediately liberated. After giving up his body, he never again has to accept a material body, but is transferred to the spiritual world. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutāpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Seek the blessings of all assembled devotees, especially Ram Rai Prabhu and who's his name? Krishna Kripa Prabhu and other elevated souls here at the holy abode of Shri Shri Radha Govinda. And today is a very auspicious day, double auspicious today. Today is Vāmana Dvādaśī and also Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī's Avirbhav Tithi. And we had selected a verse that is mentioning about the appearance of Vāmana. There is a verse that says about Lord Jagannath, Rate Vāmanam Drishtva Punarjanma Na Vidyate. That anyone who sees Lord Vāmana on a chariot, Rate Vāmanam Drishtva Punarjanma Na Vidyate. He doesn't take birth anymore and he doesn't have to take this material body which is like a chariot for the soul. He doesn't take. And I always was quite amused that Vāmana Dev in the entire story never sits on a chariot. Anyone knows that? Usually all other avatars of Lord Krishna, most of the avatars are in the Kshatriya clan, in the Kshatriya race. And Kshatriyas naturally use the rathas, the chariots. But Vāmana is a brahmachari avatar. The only avatar who came as brahmachari and didn't get married. Of course, Parashuram is there, but Parashuram is not totally considered as somebody who fits into the brahmachari definition. So Lord Vāmana obviously never sat on a chariot. So the Vāmana that is mentioned in that is Lord Jagannath. Because Lord Jagannath is, all his incarnations are same, and Lord Jagannath, if you see, he is like a dwarf. Rate Vāmanam Drishtva. So, because he is usually dwarfs, they have their hands and legs shortened. Usually their torso is as it is, but usually their hands and legs go inside. So, so here we have Lord Jagannath, who we may be thinking, there is Vāmana Dev. Here is Vāmana Dev as in the form of Jagannath. And here in this chapter, Lord Vāmana is appearing first as the four-handed Vishnu form. And the description of appearance of Vāmana Dev is very similar to the way Lord Krishna appeared. Kashyapa and Aditi especially was quite morose that her son Indra was dethroned. And imagine the dethroning of Indra happened after they got possession of the Amrita, the nectar pot, for which there was the whole fight between the demons and the Devatas. And in that, Lord Krishna takes so many innumerable avatars to help the Devatas. And finally, in the form of Mohini Murti, Krishna brings the nectar, the Amrita, to the demigods, and then they and this was seen as injustice, and then there is a fight that is described almost an entire chapter, the battle between the Suras and the Asuras. And now that the Suras, the Devatas, had drunk the nectar just now, they were very powerful and they defeated. And even without all this effort, Shukracharya, by his tapasya, by his prowess, he created a lake. Here they had a pitcher of nectar. Therein Shukracharya had a nectar lake. Obviously not the same one. That is acquired by tantric vidyas and in a effort to support the wicked, the asuras. And Bali Maharaj, who is, although born in a asura kula, he was not a asura, he was a Mahajan, he was a Mahabhagavat. Bali, born, father is, who is Bali's father? Just to ensure you're all with me, once in a while I keep asking questions. Who is Bali's father? Virochan, correct. And Virochan's father is Prahlad. So Bali is grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. And just like his grandson, father, many times we do see this, that the son doesn't have qualities of father, but many times takes in the qualities of his grandfather. Like I have this raised nose, my grandfather had, my father doesn't have. So usually the qualities come in parallel succession. And Bali, just like Prahlad, was very devoted the same time, because he was the natural heir to rule all these asuras. He was looking for a way by which he could give them Krishna consciousness, primarily by his own practice, by his own practice of dharma. But he never kind of very openly propounded, and he was following his guru very sincerely. And because of dedicated service to Shukracharya, his guru, they all became very powerful. And within some celestial, it is said after around 100 celestial years, the Amrita that they all so much fought for, its potency was coming down, mainly because they had offended Brihaspati. And because they had offended or disrespected Brihaspati, the Indra and the Devatas, their potency, sattvam, nissattvam, the verse says, nissattvam, they started to. So no matter how much strength and how much tapasya, scholarship we have, if we somewhere or other offend great souls, Vaishnavas, then that offense rules out every other qualification we can carry. And then the Bali and all the asuras, they again attacked Indra, and Indra was rendered homeless. And he was loitering all over the universe trying to find for a shelter. And mother Aditi became very morose. And how do I solve the problem of my child Indra, who was homeless? And Kashyapa recommended to her Payovrata, milk, to only sustain on the milk and to worship the deity of Lord Vishnu very sincerely, without any kind of envy. Although she has great remorse, said Aditi was performing the Payovrata ceremony. And at the end of it, Lord Brahma, he tells this, that very soon Lord Vishnu is going to be born in your womb, and he will be the cause of deliverance of all the devatas that now are rendered homeless. And the previous just few verses in the 17th chapter are the glorification of Lord Vishnu by Lord Brahma, so that the Lord actually appears. Because only when there is Guhya Namabi, it is said that Lord Brahma started to chant the names of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, in Sankirtan. And it is the Sankirtan of Lord Brahma which became the cause of Lord Vishnu selecting to come in that particular day as Vāmana. And which is very significant that even Advaita Acharya, as he was worshipping Shaligram Shila, he was constantly chanting the names of Lord Krishna to please appear. So therefore, Harinam Sankirtan, to chant sincerely for the Lord's appearance, is the main cause, either for the Lord to appear long back or even now. Once we were at a yatra, His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj and His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and we were at Nandagaon, and you might have seen this photo, both were dancing together. And there Sachinandan Maharaj mentioned that in 2002 or 3, that only with uproaring kirtan of the Lord will the Lord choose and manifest in a place, even if it is a holy place. So therefore, let us chant loudly the holy names: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So as Brahma was chanting, was doing kirtan, Lord Vishnu, who had already taken precedence in the womb of Aditi, manifested outside. And which is also very similar to the Garbhastuti. When Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, all the devatas came and they were glorifying. Satyam Trisatyam Ritasatyam Atmakam. So how the only truth that is there in this world, Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His mercy. So in this, so as Brahmaji was glorifying and doing kirtan, it is at that time Lord Vishnu, Krishna, manifested in this beautiful four-handed form and having a yellow dress, having the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma in his hands. And as the Lord appeared, he was blackish in complexion. And although he was blackish in complexion, it was not a blemish. It was without any kind of blemish, beautiful blackish complexion. with which the Lord came. And usually when a child is born, he is without any clothes, without any ornaments. But when Vāmana appeared, just like Lord Krishna's appearance, he was having a yellow dhoti, and he was having kundal, beautiful shark-shaped, makara kundal, shark-shaped earrings. And on his bosom was Srivatsa. He was having bangles and armlets on his arms. Also a helmet. Helmet means the crown, not the helmet that is. But Prabhupada, understanding Western, in the West, hardly there is crown, so he used this word helmet. Maybe a symbolic name that if you wear a helmet, you will not meet a hell, you will not die. And then he was having a sacred thread, and he was having ankle bells on his feet. So we need to visualize this and appreciate this beautiful form of Lord Vishnu that appeared in the 400, because many times we kind of appreciate the material energy a lot, but when it comes to the divine darshan of Radha Govinda, we kind of take it for granted, scan through. But instead of that, we need to absorb ourselves in this beautiful form that is manifesting here in the pages of Bhagavatam, and by Prabhupada's mercy as Radha Govinda. And the Lord's form is known as Apicha Darshanam Shashvat. Usually in this world, whichever form is there, the fascination goes away after a while. And the same person also starts to go through transformations. What appeared to be so beautiful at one point of time no longer appears to be beautiful. Once in a school, the teacher was teaching grammar, and she wrote a line saying, "I am beautiful," and asking, "What tense is this?" So one student said, "Past tense, madam." Because the teacher was now old. So no matter what beauty we carry, it's all age related. And after age, the same person changes. But Krishna, Vishnu, their beauty is ever fresh, ever increasing, and enchanting all the devotees that take darshan. So here later Lord assumes a two-handed form, but surprisingly a very miniature form, Vāmana Rupa. The Lord need not have taken that form, but to show to the world that in any form that He manifests, whether it be a form of a boar, or a lion, or a horse, He is all attractive. He is beautiful. So even when He appeared as a small little dwarf, He was very beautiful. And the specific form that the Lord took as a dwarf was mainly to evoke great blessings and eagerness to meet Lord Vāmanadev by Bali. And it is said that when Vāmanadev he appeared, so many devatas came to bless Vāmanadev. And it said that Suryadev himself came and chanted Gayatri in the ears of Vāmana. And Aditi gave him, although he has already Kundal, that unmanifested when he became as Vāmana, and then Aditi, his mother, gave him the kundal and different. Aditi gave him the kopin. The kopin was given by his mother, and different. There is a whole description what all gifts, ornaments that Vāmana Dev was given, umbrella and a kamandalu and so many other things. And then he sat for the yajna. Prabhupada mentions there that usually when a child is born, there is a samskara called as jata samskara. Immediately after or namkaran samskara, the name is given. And after few years, then there is the the thread giving ceremony. But for Vāmana, all the ceremonies, all the samskaras were done immediately. Because he is Vishnu. He doesn't need to be purified. He is the one who is purifying everyone. And then he sits for the yajna. Because any initiation or any samskara is not complete without offering that ceremony entirely to Vishnu, especially in the form of a yajna. Or devotees, in this day and age, the summum bonum of everything that we do should be should be sankirtan. So when we end any ceremony, whether it be any marriage or any kind of welcoming of the deities or a housewarming, it should have the yajna element. And if not yajna, then sankirtan of the holy names is all auspicious. So after Vāmana Dev sat on the yajna and he completed the yajna, then he got to know that there is another yajna being performed by Bali, performed by the descendants of Bhrigu. And he goes there. And the moment Bali sees Vāmana, he becomes very happy and he comes to offer his respects. So there Shukadeva Gosvāmī uses a word for Vāmana Dev called as Mukta Sangha Manoramam. That Lord Krishna, Lord Vāmana Dev, he is very pleasing to the liberated souls. Because few generations back, 2 generations back, Hiranyakashipu had seen Prahlad, had seen Lord Narasimhadev. But when Hiranyakashipu saw Lord Narasimha, Hiranyakashipu didn't become happy seeing the form. He became happy that I am now getting a chance to kill. Because Vishnu has been hiding in the hearts of his devotees. And now that I am about to kill Prahlad, therefore he has manifested. So he was feeling happy not at the beauty of Lord Narasimha, but getting a chance to kill the Lord. But Bali, when he sees Vāmana Dev, he becomes happy. Mukta Sangha Manoramam. And Acharya explained that why? Because he was already liberated. Because he was already liberated, therefore he could relish the form of Vāmana. And a lesson for us is that when we look at Radha Govinda or Radha Gopinath, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Raman, if you are not finding pleasure, if you are not finding happiness, that is a way by which we can understand that we are still not liberated. We are still having so many material conditionings and we are getting attracted to material energy. But when we are free from material conditionings, material desires, then the Lord's form appears to be very beautiful. So therefore, before we take darshan of the Lord, we need to chant sincerely the holy names. And the more we hear and chant about Lord Krishna, then when we come in front of Radha Govinda, the form will appear very beautiful. And herein, this place is a place of kirtan. And when there is Kirtan of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then the Lord appears to be beautiful. People, even when we are doing book distribution, here in Ram Rai Prabhu, has combined Kirtan and book distribution together. Because as soon as people hear the holy names, then they start to develop some attraction to the philosophy, and they are willing to stay because there is this manoramam. The Kirtan makes the Lord's form, Lord's philosophy very attractive. Bodha bhava samanvita. It appeals to the intelligence and also it appeals to the mind. And so the Lord, in a very beautiful, enchanting way, He attracts Bali Maharaj and He brings him to his assembly and He makes him seated. But Shukracharya, the moment he sees Vāmana Dev, he gets alert. He gets alerted. Prabhupada gives his example that when we see NYPD car, New York Police Department's car, or a policeman, if you are a loyal citizen, you feel protected. Oh, there is a police nearby, I don't need to fear. But if you are an unlawful citizen, you have broken some rules, the moment you see the police, you get scared. So same way, when those who are loyally serving Krishna and His instructions, when we see the form of Lord, then we get enchanted, we feel protected. But those who are following the path of adharma, like Shukracharya and other asuras, they get alerted. Like Putana, when she saw Krishna, she saw not this beautiful form of Bal Gopal, but she saw as Kalantaka, as her death personified. So this is the beautiful appearance of Vāmana. Of course, the purpose of Vāmana's appearance is ultimately to subdue Bali and bring back the kingdom. And it may seem to be partiality that both Bali was a pure devotee and Indra was a mixed devotee. He had material desires. But still, Lord Vāmana, he took that which belongs to a pure devotee and gave to a mixed devotee. So why is it that? Because Indra, although he was a mixed devotee, he was in the line of establishing Krishna's mission in this world. He was part of the dharma. Whereas asuras, although Bali was a pure devotee, the entire dynasty, they were standing for adharma. So although Bali was purified and he was glorified by sending him to Sutalaloka, apparently it seems to be that Lord Vāmana favored Indra. But Indra was given the kingdom and Vāmana left. Although he is Upendra, he actually should be known as Upabali because he was more close to Bali, being the watchman being the security guard of Bali Maharaj in Sutalaloka. I am kind of assuming that most of you do know the story, because if we try to go deeper into the story, we'll run out of time. So when Bali accepted Vāmanadev's third foot and fully surrendered Atma Nivedanam, Lord gave him the Sutalaloka. And he said, I am so pleased by your surrender that I'll always be guard and no devatas can come and take over your position. And Vāmana was guarding the Sutalaloka. So Indra only got opulences, but Bali, he got the opulences and he also got Krishna, who is the source of all opulences, he got the association of Lord Vāmana Dev. And the story goes that, that Lakshmi, she was wondering, where is my husband? Because he went to do some settlement and give Indra back his kingdom, but he is not to be seen. And then Narad Muni conveys her that now your husband Vishnu has become a prisoner of his devotee's heart, and he has chosen to be a security guard for his devotee, and he is in the Sutal Loka. And immediately Lakshmi, she comes and she ties this Rakhi, or it ties this thread of protection and seeks protection from Bali. And Bali asks, what protection do you need? He said, my protector Vishnu has become your security guard, please send him back to home. And Bali says, how can I give up association of Lord Vishnu, Lord Vāmana? And after few exchanges, then he allows. So, apparently taking away, but in taking away all our possessions, the Lord gives himself. And he becomes totally subjugated to the wishes of his desires. Just like Krishna was dancing in the wishes of Gopal, Vāmana becomes imprisoned by his devotee's love. So this is a beautiful pastime which we can meditate today, Vāmana Dvādaśī. Also today is Jīva Gosvāmī's appearance day. Of all the 6 Gosvāmīs, he was the youngest and the most prolific scholar. Prabhupada mentions that in Banaras Hindu University, there is an entire section dedicated to study the works of Jīva Gosvāmī. And Jīva Gosvāmī, he was the nephew, he was the son of Anupam, who was the brother of Rupa and Sanatan. And Jīva Gosvāmī, from his childhood, he was absorbed in worshipping Radha and Krishna. And when he grew up a little, he was attracted when Lord Chaitanya had come to Ramakeli, when Rupa and Sanatan had surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. At that time, Jīva was a very small boy, and he also was very much attracted. And when his 2 uncles went to Vrindavan, he also wanted to go and serve them. But when he grew up a little, when he was a young boy, he first went to Varanasi. And under Madhusudan Vachaspati, he learnt all the grammar, all the Vedanta, all the 6 systems of philosophy of the Vedas profusely. And after becoming a scholar in the Vedas, then he went to serve his uncles, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. And Lord Chaitanya had given 4 instructions to the Goswamis. First is to excavate the lost holy places. That Vrindavan, because of the Kali Yuga's influence, many of the holy places were lost. Kale lupte Vrindavana keli varta. That over course of time, lupta, all the Vrindavana's kelis, the pastime places, the information about them, where they all happened, they all were lost. So Mahaprabhu, he sent the Goswamis to excavate all the lost holy places. And he also gave them the instruction to establish temples of the Lord. The holy places are there, but the glorification and the discussion and the form of the Lord, for that we need temples. So the sthana the lost places of the Lord, and the Shri Vigraha, establishing of the Shri Vigraha. Therefore, the Rupa Goswami, he established the Radha. Which temple Rupa Goswami established? Radha Govind. Again, just a testing. Sanatana Goswami, Madan Mohan. Jīva Goswami, Radha Damodar. So in this way, all different acharyas, they established the temples of worship. And Srila Prabhupada, he took that far and wide, and he, all over the world, he established the holy places. Right here in New York City, he established Radha Govinda, here in this place, in Brooklyn. So, excavate the holy places, establish deity worship. And third is to enunciate the principles of pure devotional service. Sadharma samstapako. To scourge through all, just like they were going around Vrindavan and finding the holy places. Same way, Lord Chaitanya asked the Goswamis to go through all the Vedic literatures. Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipuno Sadharma Samstapakau. To research all the Vedas and to establish the eternal principles of bhakti to the world, to enunciate the principles of pure devotional service. Rupa Goswami, we prominently know the definition of bhakti as given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmad anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilam bhaktiruttama sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruttama. One is a definition from the activity point of view, another is a definition from the intention point of view. So in this way they established, enunciated the principles of bhakti, and last is to exemplify through their personal conduct what is that Lord Chaitanya wants his devotees to be. So these are the 3 E's, 4 E's: excavate, establish, enunciate, and exemplify through their personal conduct. And Jīva Gosvāmī, his prominent role is to establish, especially through the Shat Sandarbhas, how the Bhagavatam is the Amalam Puranam, is the summum bonum of all the scriptures, how Krishna in the Krishna Sandarbha, Bhagavad Sandarbha, in the Jīva Sandarbha, in different Sandarbhas. There may be more devotees here who have more understanding of the Sandarbhas. So he established, and not just established, but also if you go to Radha Kund, there it was, apart from the temples, there was no formal documentation of all the different holy places that were procured, that were established. So it was Jīva Gosvāmī who made legal documents of all the holy places, of all the temples, of all the lost holy places, documenting. And so documenting, because if you don't write, you forget. Jayadvaita Maharaj says, to remember means to write. So he documented all the, where all the Gaudiya Vaishnavism has been established. So which was very important in the later years when there was land mafia in those places, and these documents that Jīva Gosvāmī made, legal documents, helped the Gaudiya Vaishnavas to keep safe. And also extreme example of humility, that we know this story, which is good to remember today, is that when what was Rup Narayan, one scholar who came to Vrindavan, and he was taking a look. There are 2 versions of this. He was taking a look at Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu written by Rupa Goswami. And as he was taking a look at this book, he found some mistakes, some kind of apparent errors, and he was trying to correct. And Jiva Goswami just was fanning, because he was to do menial services. He used to make the leaves ready, dry them and make them ready, the ink ready, so that the Goswamis could write. So as he was fanning this and fanning Rupa Goswami, he saw all this discussion happening, and Rupa Goswami very humbly accepting. Then Jiva Goswami goes and talks to the scholar and defeats all his logic, and he defeats whatever errors that were there in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Rupa Goswami, when the scholar came back and he asked forgiveness, that time Jiva Goswami was called by Rupa Goswami and asked that, how can you have pride that you are a better scholar than someone else? So therefore you have this pride, therefore you cannot stay in Vrindavan. You please get out of Vrindavan, go out of Vrindavan. You go back to Bengal. Jiva Goswami accepted. He didn't do this out of pride, but he did this to establish our Siddhanta and how whatever Rupa Goswami was writing was proper. But without any kind of argument, he went out. He didn't go back to Bengal, but outside of the precincts of Vrindavan or Braj Mandal, he was doing intense austerities, staying underground and hardly eating anything, feeling that he developed this tinge of pride. And that is when Sanatana Goswami was doing the Braj Mandal Parikrama. When he saw the situation of Jiva Goswami, he brought him back to Vrindavan and asked Rupa Goswami, please have Jiva Daya, please be merciful to Jiva Goswami. And Rupa Goswami forgave and he let Jiva Goswami stay, and exemplifying what is the character of a pure devotee, that he, although there may not be a mistake, if somebody even apparently sees a mistake, he accepts it and tries to rectify. Therefore it is said, who is a good person or who is a good devotee? A good devotee is one, a good person is one, a Sura is one who recognizes his mistakes. Not that he rejects when people point his mistake. A bad person is somebody who rejects. If people point for, he rejects. But one who recognizes his mistake, sometimes pointed by others, or many times one's own self. We have Madhavendra Puri's example. Oh, how come I desire to eat the sweet rice even before it is offered? So recognizes his mistakes, repents for his mistakes, a good devotee, and finally rectifies his mistakes. So these are 3 R's: recognize, repent, and rectify. And opposite of that is a asura, or a bad devotee, or a who rejects his mistake, who rejoices his mistake. I killed him, or I've said this to him, and he repeats his mistake. So let us be like, pray to Jiva Goswami, that let us always be humble, and it's a privilege if somebody is finding fault with us, whether it be there or not. If we work on it, we become more pleasing to the devotees, to the acharyas, and ultimately to Radha Govinda. And also to pray to Jiva Goswami, let us become more and more, work hard to study the books that are given by the acharyas, study the books of Srila Prabhupada, especially in this week of Bhadra Purnima, where Shukadeva Goswami spoke the 12 cantos of the Bhagavatam from Radhashtami to Bhadra Purnima. Then let us absorb ourselves in the works of the Goswamis, because in one bhajan it's written that till we read Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoive Akuti, Radha Krishna Paibe, so that we will not get the attraction for Radha Krishna, Radha Govinda unless we read the works of the Goswāmis. So I'll stop here. The glories of Jīva Gosvāmī and the glories of Lord Vāmana Dev, and seek the blessings of all the devotees that we can follow in the footsteps of Lord Bali, Lord Vāmana Dev, King Bali, Bali Maharaj, Vāmana Dev, and Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Is there any comments, any additions to whatever it is shared? Else we'll stop. Yes, Krishna Karuna Prabhu.
Thank you for so many nice points, which I took notes on and put in my journal. There's one very nice verse that appears in the Leela of Vāmana Dev, and I just wanted to recite it because it's a verse glorifying the holy name. After the whole pastime is over, the Vāmana asks Shukracharya to judge the sacrifice of Bali Maharaj. And Shukracharya says, Mantratas tantratas chidram, desha kalahar vastuta, sarva karoti nishchidram, anusankirtanam tava. There may be some discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regular principles, and moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, persons, and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you. That's the cherry on the top, the most important aspect in the story. Thank you. Hare Krishna.